I'm Trilby James. I'm the Education Lead for the School of Law at Swansea University, and I'm also part of the programme team delivering our suite of postgraduate professional courses that are available to students via our Centre for Professional Legal Practice. So I'm going to talk to you about the centre, the courses that we have available for students, and also hopefully helping you think what might suit you best in terms of your route to qualification as a solicitor in England and Wales. So at the moment, for students who want to become solicitors, there are two potential routes that you might take: the traditional legal practice course route and the newer solicitors qualifying examination route. So I'm going to be talking about those two different options, who they apply to. Some will be able to choose between either option, some will have to take one or other of the options. So we'll be talking a bit around that, and then also giving you an overview of the different courses that we have to help you prepare for qualification via the legal practice course route or the new solicitors qualifying examination route. So we have the LPC and LLM in advanced drafting, and we also have the LLM professional legal practice, which helps students prepare towards the solicitors qualifying exam, the SQE. We're aimed to be a centre of excellence. We deliver a suite of professional legal programmes. We've been delivering the legal practice course and the graduate diploma in law for many, many years now. And with the new routes to qualification that came in via the SQE in September 2021, we've been adapting and developing our range of courses to cater for the changing landscape. The current programmes that we have available, we have the traditional legal practice course, we have the LLM in legal practice and advanced drafting, which is a master's level qualification which includes the legal practice course. We have the LLM law and legal practice, which is a conversion course for non-law graduates looking to qualify as solicitors, and it helps them prepare for the SQE1 exams. And then we have the LLM Professional Legal Practice, which is aimed at law graduates, and it helps them prepare for the SQE1 and 2 examinations. Now, in terms of who can qualify via the legal practice course route and who can qualify via the solicitors qualifying examination, anyone who started their law degree or their graduate diploma in law by September 2021 will have the option of either qualifying via the legal practice course route or qualifying via the SQE route. Okay, anyone who started their law degree or their legal studies after September 2021 will have to qualify via the new SQE route if they choose to become solicitors. So some of you may be in the position that you can choose now whether to continue down the LPC route or to follow the SQE. And some of you may be in a position where now your only route to qualification will be via the SQE. So just an image there on the slides just to summarise the journey to qualification via legal practice course or SQE. The traditional route requires that you have a law degree or a graduate diploma in law. There's then a requirement that you do postgraduate study in the form of the legal practice course. And then you need to obtain a formal training contract, which is a 2-year period of training within a law firm or a legal department, which then enables you to qualify as a solicitor at the end of that. The solicitor's qualifying examination route doesn't require a law degree. You have to have a degree in any discipline, so it doesn't necessarily need to be law. You need to pass the SQE1 and 2 assessments. There's no requirement that you undertake postgraduate study in order to prepare for them, but what's covered in the assessment will require some study beyond your degree. And then you need 2 years of qualifying work experience, QWE, which can be taken in up to 4 different organisations. So it's less formal than a training contract if you're working as a paralegal, provided that you're exposed to the competencies required of qualified solicitors. That can count as qualifying work experience. So those of you wondering whether the LPC is for you, the LPC, the legal practice course, is available on a full-time basis over 12 months or on a part-time basis over 24 months. And it's split into 2 stages. Stage 1 covers core practice areas and stage 2 covers electives, and you also have skills that are taught and assessed on the legal practice course, those skills that are essential to success in legal practice, so writing letters of advice to clients, drafting court documents, conducting legal research, and also some oral skills that you'd be required to demonstrate the ability to interview and advise a client, and also to make a submission before a judge or a magistrate. The legal practice course at Swansea is a postgraduate diploma, but we have the LLM in legal practice and advanced drafting, which is a master's level qualification which incorporates the LPC. There's no postgraduate loan finance available for the legal practice course on its own, but for students selecting the LLM advanced drafting, incorporating legal practice course, as that's a master's level qualification, it will give students access to student loan finance where it's available for master's programmes. Once you pass the legal practice course or the LLM advanced drafting, that is the qualification you need to then go on to do your training contract. There's no requirement beyond passing those courses that you then go on and do further exams. For each exam that you would sit on the LPC or LLM advanced drafting, there are 2 resit attempts, and students can choose when to take those within a 5-year period. Now, at the moment, because the SQE only came in September 2021, it's relatively untested. So at the moment, lots of employers will be more familiar with the legal practice course than the SQE. So when they're looking at CVs of potential applicants, they understand and recognise what they're looking at when they see a CV from a legal practice course candidate. SQE is still new and relatively untested. If you have particular firms in mind that you're thinking of targeting for future employment, it's worth checking the requirements of those individual firms. Okay, some firms are very happy to accept both legal practice course or SQE, but some of the firms, in particular the larger London-based firms, are happy to accept LPC for now, but they do have a cut-off point where they'll be looking for students to have done the SQE, so they're only taking in students who've done one similar training route. So the LPC at the moment is a known quantity, whereas the SQE is still relatively untested. SQE is split into 2 parts. SQE1, which assesses functioning legal knowledge, and effectively, or very crudely, it's the law that would be covered in the foundation subjects of a traditional law degree, and then the stage 1 core practice areas of the legal practice course. So SQE1 tests your knowledge of the law and application within the core practice areas. SQE2 assesses skills, so it's a series of oral and written skills assessments. You have to pass SQE1 in order to progress to SQE2. The first SQE1 results that were released showed that 53% of the students who had attempted it had passed it. Okay, now that might seem low, but as you'll recall, there's no requirement for a law degree before you go and attempt the SQE. So there may well have been many students attempting the SQE exams that hadn't had any formal legal training. SQE2, the first set of results for those skills assessments, which you can only enter for having passed SQE1, is looking better. So 77% of students who'd already passed the SQE1 then went on and passed SQE2. With the LPC, you need to obtain a formal training contract in order to qualify. You need to be sponsored by a firm as a trainee. It's a competitive process to obtain a training contract, and there's no guarantee that you will have one. If you do a legal practice course, you have until December 2032 to qualify. If you haven't qualified by December 2032, you will then need to sit SQE assessments in order to qualify beyond that date. Okay. In the meantime, students with an LPC can choose to qualify via the SQE route so that they can obtain qualifying work experience instead of a formal training contract. If they decide to do that, they don't need to sit the SQE1 exams. They would just need to sit the second part, those skills-based SQE2 exams. So, as I've said, the LLM in legal practice and advanced drafting is a master's level qualification which incorporates all the taught elements of the legal practice course. The difference is for students on the LLM, in addition to the taught LPC modules, they need to do a 60 credit independent learning module, which converts the qualification from a postgraduate diploma to a master's. Okay, it's a drafting project which students do independently with the help of a supervisor with expertise in the particular topic area that they've chosen. It's an opportunity to do research in more detail in an area of interest, and students often use it to make them more attractive to potential employers. So, for example, students that are looking to practice within the context of family law may choose to do their drafting project within the context of family law, so they have something additional to demonstrate to those potential employers. LPC exams are all complete by the end of June, so students who are on the LLM Advanced Drafting, who are doing this 60 credit dissertation module alongside, can choose to submit that in June when they finish the LPC exams, or at the end of September when the university's other master's programmes also submit their independent learning. Okay, so this programme, it's not really an entirely separate programme from the legal practice course. All of the teaching is the same. It's just students on this programme do the additional independent learning module. It converts the qualification from a postgraduate diploma to a master's, and that gives students the option of accessing student loan finance. There isn't any student loan finance available for postgraduate diploma. So we've thought a bit about the legal practice course, the LLM Advanced Drafting. What about the solicitor's qualifying examination? Then for those of you in the position that you could do the LPC or could do the SQE, you might be thinking, well, which one is best for you? Which should you do? Well, the SQE1 exams, they test, as I've said, the functioning legal knowledge. They are assessed by way of computerised multiple choice questions. They're centrally assessed. So beyond any training that you do to help you prepare for the exams, you need to go and sit the exams in central assessment locations, and the exams are prepared by an external provider. Okay, they assess your functioning legal knowledge, so very crudely what would be covered in the foundation subjects on a law degree and the core practice areas in stage 1 of the legal practice course. So it's 2 days of computerised multiple choice questions. Once you've passed the SQE1, you then need to sit and pass SQE2, which is the skills-based assessments. So there are 6 different skills that you would be assessed in, and they're a combination of written skills and oral skills. And they're assessed within the context of the core practice areas. And core practice areas, we have business law and practice, property law and practice, dispute resolution, we have criminal litigation and civil litigation. Okay, so those are the core practice areas. Your knowledge and application of them is assessed in the SQE1 exams. The skills that you then are assessed in SQE2 are assessed in the context of those core practice areas. So where you're being assessed in your ability to interview a client, you'll be required to conduct interviews, say, in the context of property law and practice, which you will have been assessed on already in SQE1. You must pass the SQE1 before you can put yourself forward to sit the SQE2 assessments. You have 2 resit attempts at SQE1 and also 2 resit attempts at SQE2, and you must take them within 6 years or you're required to start over. So as we saw at the beginning of the talk, for students looking to qualify via the SQE, there's no requirement for a law degree or any postgraduate study. The only requirements are that you have a degree in any discipline and that you sit and pass both elements of the SQE assessment. So what preparation do you need in order to successfully sit and pass the SQE1 and SQE2 exams? Now, because the SQE exams assess your knowledge and application within the core practice areas and the foundation subjects that would be studied on a law degree, you're going to need some preparation to enable you to successfully sit and pass the SQE assessments. You don't have to have studied law, but you're going to need to have studied law in order to be able to sit and pass the exams. So thinking about what the options are for further study, there are master's courses available, there are postgraduate diplomas available, and also there are online assessment preparation courses available. So what do these different things offer, and what's going to be right for you? With the SQE, because it's a centrally set professional qualification, a centrally set assessment, you will need to pay the fees for sitting those assessments in addition to the fees you pay for any preparation courses that you do to help you prepare. Now, the cost of SQE1 and SQE2 at the moment, the exam fees themselves, the combined cost is just over £4,000. You will need to pay that over and above the cost of any courses you do to help you prepare for those exams. So it's worth bearing that in mind when you're looking at the type of course that's available for you to help you prepare. So thinking about the options then, we've got the master's courses, postgraduate diploma and online preparation courses. As SQE is still relatively new, there might be new things coming out and developing, over time. So it's worth keeping an eye out at what's happening. Should you do a traditional master's course to help you prepare? Well, a master's course is a recognised qualification. So when you're applying for jobs, an employer looking at your CV, if you have a degree and then you have a master's in law, that's a recognised qualification that will mean something to them. So it should help you from an employability perspective. Traditional masters, as well as helping you prepare for the SQE exams, will also give you comprehensive training. So they will be designed to help you be successful in practice on day one of your qualifying work experience. There's funding available for master's level qualifications. The amount of funding varies depending on whether you are a student in England or in Wales. So it's worth checking the level of funding available to you. And also when you're thinking about costs, it's worth checking whether you can access sufficient student loan master's funding in order to cover the costs of any course that you want to do, plus an attempt at the SQE assessments. Postgraduate diploma, that's also a recognised qualification. So in terms of employability, employers will recognise if you've done a postgraduate diploma after your degree to help you prepare for the SQE exams. So that will be good from an employability perspective. It will also give you comprehensive training over and above just training to pass the online assessments, for example, for SQE1 or the skills assessments for SQE2. There's no funding available for a postgraduate diploma, only for postgraduate master's qualifications. So if funding is an issue for you, it's worth bearing that in mind when you're exploring your options. There are also SQE preparation courses available online, and a lot of these will be relatively short compared with postgraduate diplomas and master's courses, and they are there really to help you pass the SQE exams. They're not going to give you the comprehensive training that you would get from a postgraduate diploma or a traditional master's. Okay, they may be cheaper than a postgraduate diploma or a master's, but they will be helping you pass assessments rather than giving you the level of comprehensive training that you would get from a more traditional programme. They're also less likely to be recognised by employers as a qualification or something that you've done post your degree to help you. It won't be as recognised in terms of how it's helped you prepare for qualification. There's no student loan finance funding available for online preparation courses either. So where the cost of the course might be cheaper, it's something that will need to be funded privately. So in terms of what we offer in the Centre for Professional Legal Practice at Swansea to help students prepare for the SQE 1 and 2 assessments, we've developed our LLM in Professional Legal Practice. So it's an LLM, a master's level qualification, which helps students develop the knowledge, understanding and application they need to be successful in legal practice, but also helps students prepare towards the SQE1 and SQE2 assessments themselves. The course is split into two parts, Stage 1 and Stage 2. During Stage 1, we look at the core practice areas that are assessed in the context of the multiple choice questions that you would need to sit to pass SQE1. SQE1 assessments themselves are currently available to students in January and July. More dates may be added as the assessment becomes more established. Students will be able to choose whether to sit the SQE1 assessments in January once they've completed Stage 1 of the LLM programme, or you might choose that you want to complete the entire LLM and attempt the SQE1 assessment in July or at a later date. It's up to each individual to choose. During stage 2 of the course, this is where we focus on the professional skills, which are assessed in SQE2. So there are 6 skills in total, and they're a combination of written skills, so things like writing letters of advice, drafting documents and conducting research, but also there are those oral skills of interviewing and advising clients, preparing submissions before a judge or a magistrate. Okay, and the SQE2 skills are assessed in the context of the core practice areas that are assessed in SQE1. So, for example, SQE1 will assess you in your knowledge and application of property law and practice. In SQE2, you will be required to interview a client, and you'll need to do that in various contexts, but one of which would be property law and practice. There's also an opportunity during stage 2 to do independent research, as this is a master's level programme. So you will be working alongside your skills preparation on an independent research project on a topic area of your choice, together with a supervisor with expertise in that area. And it's again an opportunity for you to consider a topic that might be attractive to a potential employer. So if you have a practice area in mind, you might be interested in intellectual property, for example, you could choose to do your drafting project within that area so that it's an additional thing for your CV to help you stand out to those prospective employers. SQE2 assessments are currently available for students to sit in January, in April and July. Remember, you need to have sat and passed SQE1 before you can attempt SQE2. So students who do decide to sit SQE1 in the January, partway through the programme, provided that they pass those SQE1 assessments, they can then attempt SQE2 in April or in July when they've completed the course or at some point in the future. Now, because the SQE is a centrally assessed set of assessments, remember you will need to pay the fees for those assessments over and above any course fees that you have to pay. Okay. Currently, the SQE cost is £4,115. That's the total cost for SQE1 and 2. You need to pay for any resit attempts as well. So it's worth thinking about the cost of SQE2 when you're factoring in the type of postgraduate preparation that you want to do. The benefits of the LLM option: it provides you with the functioning legal knowledge that you need for the SQE1 exams. It also provides you with the skills that you need for the SQE2 exams, but in addition it gives you a master's level qualification which is recognised on your CV. So at the moment, while the SQE is relatively untested, where you're looking to qualify via this route, but you're competing in the marketplace against students with a traditional LPC, if you've done a master's of this nature to help you prepare for the SQE, on paper, looking at a CV, you will be comparable to a student that has done a traditional LPC or a master's programme incorporating an LPC. Okay, at the moment, employers are used to LPC graduates, so this may well be a more reassuring option for them, that they don't just have a candidate that's sat and passed the online assessments and skills assessments that are required for SQE, but they've also done an appropriate degree of preparation and have the knowledge and skills that a candidate who's done a legal practice course would also have. It also retains the ability for you to do an independent research project. So if you are wanting to target firms because you're interested in a particular practice area, it's well worth thinking about conducting your project within that area so that it's something else to make you stand out when you're applying for positions. The master's course that we have is not focused on simply getting you through the SQE exams. Okay, it's there to help you build the foundation that you need for being a successful solicitor in practice. Student finance is available as it's a master's level qualification, and for students who are domiciled in Wales, the student loan finance that is accessible is sufficient to cover the course fees and the cost of the SQE assessments, or one attempt at the SQE assessments. It's worth noting that there are online grammar courses which are designed to help you prepare for the SQE assessment. They will be advertised at a lower cost, But do remember that the cost of the SQE exams need to be paid on top of the cost of the course, and there isn't finance available from student loan finance to fund those types of courses. Finance is really available from student loan finance for master's level qualifications postgraduate. So in summary, and on the slide here, we've put a summary of the legal practice course route, the solicitor's qualifying examination route, and some points there which may help you have a think about what might suit you best and help you decide what you might need to do in terms of preparation. So the legal practice course, there's a requirement for further study beyond your law degree or your law conversion course. For the SQE, there's no requirement for further study beyond a degree, but you will need to think about how you're actually going to prepare yourself sufficiently to sit and pass the SQE exams. With the legal practice course, the LPC itself is the qualification, so once you've done and passed that, there's nothing further you need to do in terms of assessment. Whatever preparation you do for the SQE, you do need to sit those centrally assessed SQE 1 and 2 assessments and pass those in order to qualify. In terms of funding, on the LPC route, if you do a master's incorporating the LPC, you can have access to student loan finance. On the SQE route, again, if you do a master's course to help you prepare, there will be funding available to help you do that. The legal practice course route, there are no fees for resits. So any assessments on the LPC, you have 2 attempts. If you don't pass first time, 2 further attempts, and you don't need to pay extra fees to do those. For the SQE itself, you need to pay to sit the assessments, and if you have any resits, you need to pay for those resits. In terms of work-based learning, for the legal practice course, you need to obtain a training contract, or if you don't obtain a training contract, you need to obtain qualifying work experience and sit the SQE 2 skills exams. On the SQE route, you need to obtain qualifying work experience rather than a formal training contract. The LPC is a recognised qualification. The SQE, anything you do to prepare for it, will be a recognised qualification if it's at a postgraduate diploma or master's level, but not anything else in terms of an online preparation course. Thinking about costs, on the LPC route, the fees of the particular course you do, whether it's an LLM incorporating an LPC or the straight LPC, the fees will be the course fees themselves. There isn't anything over and above that. On the SQE route, you will need to pay the cost of the SQE itself, currently £4,115 for both elements of it, and you will need to pay for the cost of any preparation you do. So it's well worth thinking about the overall cost of options and how you're going to access finance to cover those options. Modes of study for all our programmes, the legal practice course, the LLM advanced drafting, which incorporates the LPC, and also the LLM professional legal practice, which helps law graduates prepare for SQE 1 and 2. They're available on a full-time basis over 1 year or a part-time basis over 2 years. Full-time study is September to June, 3 days a week typically during stage 1 and 2 days a week typically during stage 2. Applications are made via the Central Applications Board website. The part-time courses are available over 2 years, September to June, and typically there's 1 day of teaching each week over that period. Applications for the part-time course are made directly to our postgraduate admissions office. Entry requirements for our programmes. We typically require a 2-2 degree in law. To apply for the LPC or the LLM advanced drafting, because there's a requirement that you have a recognised law degree, it needs to meet the SRA's requirements of being a qualifying law degree. So you need an LLB or a graduate diploma in law. For the LLM professional legal practice, the course assumes that you've done the foundations of law that will be covered in an LLB, but there's no entry requirement to say that you must have covered those areas, but the course is there and available on the assumption that students are coming to it having done a law degree that covers the QLD requirements. For information on fees and funding, we've got our website that's got information about all the courses that we've looked at, the fees for the courses and the funding available. We do have bursaries which are available to Swansea University alumni and also alumni of other Welsh universities. They're applied automatically if you meet the eligibility criteria, so do have a look at what those options are. And in terms of other funding, there's student loan finance available for master's level courses and not for postgraduate diplomas. So the LPC on its own doesn't qualify for student loan finance, but the LLM, Legal Practice and Advanced Drafting, which incorporates the LPC, and the LLM, Professional Legal Practice, which helps prepare for SQE, both of those courses do qualify for student loan finance. In terms of employability, we have a vibrant employability programme at Swansea University where we have networking events, guest speakers, we have work placements and internships, help with CVs and application forms, and also help with preparing for interviews. We have a dedicated employability team which also helps students obtain work experience. There are opportunities for students, if they want to look at doing a year in industry. And we also have lots of connections with whom we advertise graduate roles, paralegal roles, training contracts to help students beyond their time with us. Any questions, please do contact us via email. Our dedicated admissions tutor, Michaela Lation, is more than happy to help you, and our student engagement partner on our postgraduate professional courses, Richard Leonard Davis, is also available to help you, to talk to you about your options and help you consider what might work best for you given your particular individual circumstances. For more information on the courses, please use the QR code for more detail.